It's time for class today. Thank you for coming. So here's where we are today. We're going to talk about cold calling. We're going to talk about hiring staff, hiring virtual assistants to pound the phones, to also deliver the message, not only to deliver the message through direct mail, but also to deliver it through over the phone. So where we're at so far today, we're on October 4th, hiring a calling assistant to prospect for you. This is the lesson today. And I'm going to walk you through how to hire a virtual assistant somewhere not in America. If you hire someone in America, the turnover will be too high. It'll be too expensive for the job. I just don't think it's worth it. Today's premise is probably hiring more overseas than finding someone who's highly skilled, highly licensed to prospect for you here in the States. How do you build a cold calling team to pass your selling leads on top of where I would start, which is direct mail? So I would go direct mail first, then I would add in a calling layer. So the very first thing you have to do is you have to append phone numbers to your likely to sell list. So you have this spreadsheet of the names, mailing addresses, and property addresses of all these homeowners, but you need phone numbers. So you can upload this spreadsheet to many services. Just Google phone append, and you'll see everyone selling this. So you go to one of these websites, you upload the spreadsheet, and it's going to add several phone numbers that come back. So you download the list. It's the same looking spreadsheet, but now there's a phone 1, phone 2, phone 3, phone 4 column. Now, when you get those phone numbers back, you need to remove any phone numbers that are on the do not call lists. All I want to say here is that when those numbers come back, if you're a real estate agent and you're not scrubbing the DNC, you are breaking the law. So after step number 1 of appending phone numbers, number 2, I want you to scrub DNC. Let's move on to point number 3. Now that you've scrubbed DNC, assuming that you're a real estate agent, you want to remove anyone who has sued a telemarketer in the past. The other part of the law, not just DNC, the other part of the law is TCPA, the Telephone Consumer Protection Act. This is a 1991 law that's been interpreted that you auto dialers are basically illegal. Like if the system's just dialing phone numbers without human intervention, you can be fined considerably. But here's what I'm getting at. I'm not here an attorney to tell you about the laws. I just want you to be aware of do not call when you're doing cold calling. And I also want you to be aware of TCPA laws to make sure that you stay compliant, which I'll go through some considerations. But it's a good idea that if somebody has actually sued a telemarketer in the past, meaning like their number showed up in a court complaint, you can buy these numbers and make sure they aren't in your list and do not call these people. Now, the next thing that I would do is I would upload these to a dialer. You need a dialer that is built for outbound B2C calling. You don't put them into your CRM. You put them into something totally separate. That dialer needs to have an internal DNC suppression list. So basically, if someone says, put me on your do not call list, you can mark it, and come hell or high water, if that number gets in the system again, it does not dial it. Not only do you need to scrub this list through DNC, not only should you scrub it through TCPA litigators and I'll upload it to your dialer that you choose, but you probably have your own internal suppression list, and you're going to need one. This is legal compliance. So now that you have this list uploaded to the dialer, and now that you have the DNC scrubbed, TCPA scrubbed, and you have your internal DNC list suppressed, and the dialer allows you make sure that you can click a button, that person's never going to be called again. The goal with the VAs is not to set appointments. No, the goal is not to even get great leads. The goal is to get a documented homeowner on the phone on your likely to sell list, of knowing the phone number that works and getting consent and permission for a call back from somebody to talk about getting their home sold. Now it's actually time to hire a virtual assistant. Okay. I recommend you pay somewhere probably between $4 to $6 an hour. You might go as high as $7 and $8 for really good talent, but I think that's probably more of an exception, but probably $4 to $6 an hour is about par, predominantly in the Philippines. And also another good country is Jamaica, believe it or not. Jamaica is a wonderful country to probably find good, solid talent that speaks well on the phones of good English. They could do well. All right. But I really recommend you hire 2. And what's nice about that is they kind of hold each other accountable. You have 2 people to speak with. You kind of can see which one's doing better than the other one. And if one quits, you still have one person there. So when you hire the new one, they can train the next person, because you're constantly going to have a turnover. And it's nice when you always have one person there to train the new person up so it stays consistent. There's a lot of benefit of hiring 2 part-time to make sure you have a good system to pay your virtual assistant. So go to Hubstaff. You can also use a service called Time Doctor. But sign up for Hubstaff account, throw your VA in there, put their pay in there. One thing, please do not do this. If you want to ruin your culture, there's all these options in Hubstaff to like spy on them with their webcam and like take screenshots of their computer. Turn all that off. No one likes that. It's distrustful. Just use it as a way to like people log their hours and to send payment. I recommend you pay weekly. They submit their hours, their week by Friday, and you pay them Monday morning. So pay them once a week. Sound good? And you just transfer the money. There's no need for any 1099 contract stuff. There's no laws. You just send them the money, done.